Hello everybody, and thank you very much for joining me on this brief video. It's Alex Ihama, the president of School of Greatness and the author of the book Welcome to Greatness. Listen, I am putting up this video in response to the hundreds of questions we continuously receive with regards to the topic of purpose. Now, if you've heard me speak before, perhaps I've spoken in your church, in your organization, your company, school, or you follow me on social media, or I've read my books and my articles out there, you will know that purpose is a topic I always gravitate towards because, frankly, everything rises and falls on purpose. So, we receive so many questions about purpose. In fact, every day we receive a lot of questions. They are different questions, but frankly, you can summarize these questions into five. And that's what I want to tackle in this brief video for you today. Of course, you would appreciate that the topic of purpose we cannot cover in 5 to 6 minutes. Neither was I able to cover all of them in my book, Welcome to Greatness, or in the other one, Mystique of Greatness, or the one I'm writing on. I just have to touch on them as we go along. But, 5 questions or 6 questions with regards to purpose. I've summarized all your questions into this. Number 1, what is purpose? Number 2, why is it important to discover your purpose? Number 3, how do you discover your purpose? Number 4, how do you align your profession or whatever it is you're engaged in today? How do you align it with your purpose? And number 5, how do you fulfill your purpose? So what is purpose? Quickly, purpose is the exact reason with which you were created, right? So many of us use iPhones and we take pictures with it, we do video recording with it, but the purpose of the iPhone, the main purpose of the iPhone is to make calls. So you were sent here to achieve a particular assignment. It's so particular that if you don't achieve it, it will remain unfulfilled. All right. So the reason we have to, as I said in my book, Welcome to Greatness, I said the reason we have so much vacuums in the world today is because most people are not fulfilling their purpose. They are not filling up the vacuum with which they were created. So that's your purpose. Your purpose is not it's not often how you were raised. It's not your profession, what you do for a living. It's not what you think it is, and it's not your talent either. Right? A lot of people confuse talents with purpose. Talents were given to you to fulfill your purpose, right? So your talents are the legs that carry your purpose. And, I often give the example of people like Michael Jordan, right? His purpose is not basketball. His purpose, his talents, athletic capabilities and the basketball, but that's not his purpose, right? So if we look at Bill Gates, for instance, he created computer or Microsoft and is the richest man on the planet. But that was his talent, his capabilities. I believe, I haven't spoken to him, but I do believe he's now about his purpose, right? He's traveling across the world trying to find cure for HIV, for malaria. He's trying to make a difference that we are living. In a few years, perhaps people won't remember Microsoft. But if he did find cure for malaria, which is one of his top goals, that you can say is his purpose, Nelson Mandela. In fact, in my book, The Mystique of Leadership, I did lots of case study about people like Martin Luther King, Abraham Lincoln, Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, Bill Gates, Aliko Dangote, Elizabeth Holmes, Mark Zuckerberg. You can read all of them, right? So how, the correlation between purpose and talents and vision and dreams and even passion. So there's a chapter in here called The Mystique of Leadership. The book Mystique of Leadership. There's a chapter called The Leadership Manifesto. So in a nutshell, that's purpose, right? So your purpose is very specific, very unique to you. So when people try to be other people, they are definitely not working in purpose, right? Again, I don't want to stretch it. I can go on this particular one. What is purpose? But rest assured, it's unique to you. It's almost like your fingerprint. It's an assignment. Before you were knit in your mother's womb, you were given a specific purpose. In fact, that purpose was given before you were created. So you go. So let's just quickly segue into the next question of why is it important? Why must you discover a purpose? What's the importance of this purpose? What happens if you don't? Well, The nutshell is, until you discover your purpose in life and of course pursue it to fulfill it, you'll be frustrated for the rest of your life. It was Abraham Maslow who said, if you plan on being anything other than what you were created to be, you will be unhappy for the rest of your life. So I just use Abraham Maslow's quotation. Of course, I have lots of mine in my books as well. But in essence, here's how you know people who are not living in purpose, right? I say this quickly. People who are not living in purpose, they're always complaining, always whining, always blaming, always making excuses. They never say thank you. They don't say please. They are defensive to the core. They resist knowledge and wisdom. They are abrasive to knowledge and wisdom. Those are people who are not working in purpose, right? You're in traffic, you're complaining, right? A man of purpose in traffic is thinking of the next step to fulfill his purpose, right? So it's really critical. And in fact, I strongly believe, and there are researchers to prove this, that if you're not working on purpose, it could lead to actually some maladies. It could lead to some illnesses, right? So stress and even heart attack and all this cholesterol and all these things they talk about, believe me, those things have no time to catch up with you if you are running your race, a race that has been marked out for you and you're running that with perseverance. All right. So and people who often commit suicide, I'm not saying all of them, I'm just saying most of those cases we see in the suicide cases is because they are not working in purpose. They are not working in purpose. You cannot be working in purpose and go commit suicide. You don't even have the time to think about it. In fact, suicidal thoughts disappear the moment you discover and are committed to fulfill your purpose. So we've talked briefly about what's purpose. We talked about why it's important. Now, how do you discover your purpose? Great question, right? In fact, this is what they call the meaning of life. This is a question, one of the deepest questions philosophers and even archaeologists and theologists and all of them been trying to answer. How do you discover your purpose? Well, your purpose is the place you find your purpose the most is in your pain. What pains you the most is likely the reason you were created. Is likely the purpose. I'll give you a couple of examples. Martin Luther King, right? Oh, what's going on in America? How come we can't vote? We sit at the back of the bus and God says, hey, listen, I raised you for a time like this. Let's even go further backward. Let's look at Moses, right? Why are the Israelites suffering in Egypt? If you are God, why are you allowing these things to happen? And God says, hey, Moses, I raised you for a time like this. So at the School of Greatness, we have, in every program, purpose is a prerequisite. You gotta complete it. So if you've been through some of our programs, you know, then of course, hopefully you are living, or you know your purpose and are living it out. But you know, in your pain, most of the pain that comes out, right? In my book, Welcome to Greatness, the first chapter is inception. What happened? Let's talk about the beginning. You cannot be an effective leader except you've discovered a purpose. In fact, purpose is leadership, right? So you know that's when I talk about leadership. But the essence here is what pains you the most. I want you to think about it now. What pains you the most? Some will say, listen, I was abused as a child, right? We see that a lot with very fine grown-up women, 40 years, 50 years, never told anybody they were sexually abused, and that comes out. Or they were single moms, a teenage mom, or whatever that pain is. What pains you? If you have a passion, if you're seeing the suicide rate and there's just this passion to make a difference, you're onto something bigger. Don't dismiss it, right? 9-to-5 job often take away from the rest of our lives, if you will, right? So in your pain is your purpose, right? So your talent must align in such a way that they create a way for you to fulfill your purpose. So again, your talents must align, right? So where does passion fit in? I didn't mean to go into this, but let me quickly bring it up, because a lot of people talk about passion. Oh, my passion is basketball. You are passionate about basketball. I understand that, but it's not your purpose. You are not called to go play basketball. It has to be something bigger than that, right? Of course, we get satisfaction from a lot of things we do, but fulfillment can only be discovered in the pursuit of purpose. Okay, so you need to sit down and say, okay, what pains you the most and why? And then list your talents and begin to say, okay, can these talents come together to create a platform, an opening, an opportunity for me to make a difference in this regard. And if it is, like yesterday, I was looking at the Facebook of a very good friend of mine, and she's all fired up about child rape, and kids are being raped, and they are not, especially in the third world, and nothing is being done about it. And you from afar, you can read her Facebook, and okay, this woman is determined about making a difference, about bringing out the awareness of child abuse, sexual abuse, especially in the third world. Now, am I saying she was? I don't know. But there's definitely something that's pulling her there. And I can tell you, if she wasn't, then perhaps somebody very close to her was, or people very close to her. So that automatically became her purpose. Like, take Mother Teresa for an instance. Mother Teresa did not have to go to India and live among the poor. She didn't have to, right? She was born in Europe and had parents, to my understanding, based on a biography anyway, maybe not as rich as Bill Gates, but she wasn't necessarily suffering. So for some reason, there was this burden in her. The pain, again, we'll get back to the pain, to make a difference. And it says, how can a subsection of the world be neglected? And of course, boom, a purpose was born. So we've talked about what is purpose, why it's important, how to discover it. Then number 4, quickly, is how do you align your purpose with your profession? So if you're already an accountant today, a lawyer, right? The other day we had an email from a CFO of a major company here in Toronto, right? Doing very well, almost $200,000 salary, and says he's not fulfilled. He's been following my work for a long time through LinkedIn, and reached out and said, hey, there's something in me and I want to discover. And got into one of our programs, and in there found that he has a purpose to enable youth fulfill their life, have a clear direction. He's just passionate about it, right? So I asked him, I'm kind of segueing into the 5th question. How do you fulfill it? Do you go to church? Says yes. There must be some youth in the church. So, why don't we put them together and you start to do, share what's on your heart. And some will connect. And the ones that connect, you'll begin to learn as you go along the way. So basically, here's how you transition from your profession to your purpose. So you start with where you are, right? It was Les Brown who once said, start with where you are with what you have. And then every other thing. The why, how to do it, how to fulfill it is never a problem, because once you begin to work in purpose, your creator, God Almighty, the person who assigned you, who gave you this assignment, will provide everything you need. Remember, if God gives you a vision, He gives you the provision. If He gives you a purpose, He gives you the power, okay, to fulfill it. So, and that's really how it goes. Quickly, so again, what we've just gone through is about 5 questions, which I hope really covers the hundreds of questions we have on social media. And if you're one of those who send us message on Facebook, Alex Ihama, or through the School of Greatness, or my fan page, group page, we have over 100,000 people following us in 45 countries. So if you're one of those and we haven't responded to you directly, I hope this video has been able to help you. Again, send me a message. Send me a message. Now, once you've seen this and you've actually done some research and some homework and some soul searching, if you will, and you've pondered and reflected on your life, then your questions will begin to actually make sense, right? Yes, so when you send your question, then we can really talk about it. Thank you again for watching this video. It's Alex Ihama talking about purpose from my book, Welcome to Greatness, and the other one, Mystique of Leadership, and through the School of Greatness worldwide. We have campuses literally in so many countries now: Tanzania, Nigeria, Liberia, Canada, USA, Australia, India, South Africa. We have campuses and the movement is growing. Thank you again, and I hope to get your message. Send me a post, send me a comment with regards to this video. Bye.